Leo was the smallest lion in his pride. While the other cubs were born strong, with thick legs and powerful roars, Leo was different. He was weak, his voice barely more than a squeak, and he struggled to keep up when the others ran through the savannah. From a young age, he learned what it meant to be left behind. When the older cubs played rough, he was always the first to be knocked down. When the pride moved to a new territory, he was the last to arrive, panting and exhausted. The other cubs laughed at him, and even the adult lions looked at him with pity. But Leo refused to accept his fate as the weakest. While the others slept in the shade during the afternoon heat, he trained. He practiced his pounce, leaping at small rocks to sharpen his reflexes. He chased after birds, forcing his legs to move faster, even when they ached. He roared into the wind, over and over, strengthening his voice until it no longer sounded like a cub's whimper. Every failure was a lesson. When he missed a jump, he tried again. When he got knocked down, he stood up. When he couldn't keep up with the others, he pushed himself harder the next day. Seasons passed, and Leo grew, but he was still smaller than the others. The pride's leader, a mighty lion named Kuno, watched him struggle and shook his head. "You will never be strong enough to lead," he told Leo. "A lion's power is in his strength, and you have little of it." Leo didn't argue. He only trained harder. One day, danger came to the pride. A rival group of lions appeared on the horizon, their leader a massive beast with scars across his face. He had come to challenge Kuno for control of the territory. The fight was brutal. Claws slashed, roars shook the air, and dust rose from the ground as the two lions clashed. But Kuno was old, and the rival lion was younger and stronger. Within minutes, the mighty leader of the pride was defeated, forced to flee with his wounds. The rival lion turned his eyes to the rest of the pride. If no one challenged him, he would take over, and those who resisted would be cast out. None of the other lions dared to step forward. They saw the size of the enemy, the power in his muscles, and they lowered their heads in fear. But Leo stepped forward. Laughter rippled through the pride. The rival lion smirked. "You think you can defeat me, little cub?" he mocked. Leo did not answer. He had no time for words. The battle began, and the rival lion lunged at him, expecting an easy victory. But Leo was fast, faster than any lion he had ever fought. He dodged, slipping past the heavy strikes, striking back with precision. He used the techniques he had practiced alone in the scorching sun, the speed he had built from years of chasing after birds, the endurance he had gained from never giving up. The rival lion grew frustrated. He was stronger, but Leo was smarter. Every attack he launched missed. Every move he made was countered. And then, in one swift motion, Leo leapt higher than he ever had before, higher than any lion thought possible, and landed a crushing blow to the rival's jaw. The great beast staggered, dazed. And then, with a final, powerful roar, one that echoed across the entire savannah, Leo drove him to the ground. Silence fell over the pride. The rival lion, defeated and humiliated, scrambled to his feet and fled into the wilderness, never to return. Leo turned to face his pride, expecting the same laughter, the same pity he had always known. But instead, the lions bowed their heads in respect. That day, Leo, the smallest and weakest cub, became the leader of the pride. Not because of strength, but because of perseverance. Because when others doubted him, he worked harder. When he was knocked down, he got back up. And so, he ruled not as the strongest lion, but as the most determined. To those who feel too small, too weak, or too far behind, remember Leo. Strength is not just in muscles, but in the will to never give up. Others may doubt you. You may fall 100 times. But if you keep going, if you refuse to surrender, you will rise. And when you do, the world will remember you not for where you started, but for how far you climbed.